Hello, I'm Dr. William Lee, a physician and medical researcher dedicated to advancing health through evidence-based medicine and innovative approaches to disease prevention and care. Listen, I need you to pay very close attention to what I am about to share with you today, because the words coming out of my mouth right now could literally be the thin line between you walking away from a stroke like nothing ever happened, or you spending the rest of your life trying to lift a spoon with a hand that just refuses to listen to your brain. That is not a joke. That is the brutal truth about strokes. Having the right information at the right moment is everything. And most people walking around today have absolutely no clue what to do when a stroke hits them or someone they love. So today I am pulling back the curtain and showing you exactly what to do if a stroke ever knocks on your door, what powerful nutrient you should grab immediately, and the best secret weapon to bounce back hard if you have already had one. Stick with me, because this is the kind of information that could save your life, or save somebody you deeply care about. Now let me break it down for you in plain English. There are basically two kinds of strokes you need to know about. You have the sneaky little mini strokes, and then you have the big, nasty, severe strokes. The mini strokes are these short hit and run attacks that can last anywhere from 15 tiny minutes all the way up to a full 24 hours. The wild part is, the symptoms eventually fade away like nothing ever happened, and people brush it off like a bad headache. But here is the scary truth. A mini stroke is your body screaming at you, waving a giant red flag in your face, telling you something dangerous is brewing under the surface. Then you have the severe stroke, the real monster, the one that can leave permanent damage on one entire side of your body and turn your whole life upside down in seconds. And listen to this carefully, because this fact alone should make you sit up straight. If you have already experienced a mini stroke, your chances of getting hit with a full-blown severe stroke within the next year are roughly 1 in 5. 1 in 5. That is a huge warning shot. So if you have ever felt one of those weird moments where something just was not right, you better start changing things really fast, and this video is going to be massively important for you. Now let me give you a simple little tool to spot a stroke when it is happening, because every single second counts. The acronym is BE FAST, and it is dead easy to remember. The B stands for balance. If your balance suddenly goes haywire, if you feel wobbly, dizzy, or just totally uncoordinated, that is clue number 1. The E is for eyes. Maybe your vision goes fuzzy in one eye, or things start looking blurry out of nowhere. The F is for face. One side of your face might start drooping like melting wax, and the fastest way to check this is to flash a quick smile in the mirror. If one side refuses to lift, big problem. The A is for arms. Lift both arms straight up. If one of them just hangs there like a wet noodle and refuses to cooperate, that is a major red alert. The S is for speech. Your words might come out slurred, twisted, or scrambled. And finally, the T stands for time, because time is everything. You need to call an ambulance immediately, like yesterday. There's a special clot-busting drug doctors can give you, but only if they catch the stroke within 4 hours. Miss that window and your options shrink fast. So now let us get into the juicy part, the secret nutrient that could change the entire game for your brain. This nutrient is a special type of vitamin E. But here is the twist. It is not the boring regular vitamin E that you see plastered on every cheap supplement bottle on the shelf. That common one is called tocopherol. The powerful version I am talking about is called tocotrienol. Big difference. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Each type of vitamin E has its own little family of cousins, the alpha, the beta, the gamma, and the delta versions. Now hold on tight, because this fact is mind-blowing. The alpha tocotrienol is roughly 1,000 times stronger than the alpha tocopherol when it comes to protecting your brain cells from the destruction caused by a stroke. 1,000 times. That is not a small bump. That is a complete monster upgrade. And the craziest part is, it only takes a ridiculously tiny dose of tocotrienol to shield your brain cells from something called glutamate-induced cell death, which is one of the silent killers that happens during a stroke. So picture this. You start noticing your speech is slipping, or your arm feels weird, or something just feels off. The smart move is to take tocotrienols immediately to slam the brakes on more damage. But even if you do not have any in your medicine cabinet right at that second, go out, grab some, and start using it in your recovery phase. Whatever dosage the bottle recommends, I would personally bump it up to about 4 times that amount and spread it out throughout the day for maximum effect. One important rule though, do not take it together with tocopherols, only take pure tocotrienols, and ideally a blend that includes the alpha, beta, gamma, and delta forms. The reason is simple. Tocopherols and tocotrienols actually fight each other for absorption, and we do not want anything weakening the magic. We want this stuff working at full strength inside your body. So tocotrienols are useful in 3 powerful ways. They can help prevent a stroke from happening in the first place, they can protect your brain during an actual stroke, and they can supercharge your recovery once the storm has passed. But the benefits do not stop there, not even close. Tocotrienols have some incredible special powers that protect the outer cell membrane of your neurons, which means they are also amazing for a whole list of other brain conditions. We are talking Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dystonia, which is that strange condition where your body makes involuntary twisting or jerking movements you cannot control. Tocotrienols are also incredibly helpful for ataxia, which is when your coordination goes completely out the window, your balance becomes a disaster, and you find yourself stumbling and falling because something in the back part of your brain, called the cerebellum, is damaged. And then there is another sneaky condition called dysautonomia. This one is basically a glitch in your autonomic nervous system, which is the master switchboard controlling your sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. When one side of that switchboard is stuck in overdrive or barely working, all kinds of weird symptoms pop up. For example, imagine you exercise like crazy and you cannot sweat a single drop, or flip that around. Imagine you sweat like a waterfall for no reason at all, even when you are sitting still in a cool room. Both of those are signs of dysautonomia, and vitamin E in the form of tocotrienols is exactly what you should be reaching for. There is also a related condition called POTS, where simply standing up can cause you to feel dizzy, lightheaded, or even pass out completely. That is a severe glitch in the autonomic nervous system, and I have covered that in plenty of other videos. For POTS, B1 is critically important, but vitamin E in the tocotrienol form is also a serious game changer. And here is one more juicy benefit of tocotrienols that has absolutely nothing to do with your brain. It is all about your heart. Yes, your heart, the engine of your entire body. Tocotrienols can be thought of as a natural version of nitroglycerin that powerful drug doctors use during heart attacks. Why? Because tocotrienols are amazingly effective at boosting oxygen flow directly into the heart muscle itself, keeping it strong, fueled, and ready to handle whatever life throws at it. Now here's another important point most people totally miss. Vitamin E in general is absolutely necessary for the omega-3 fats in your body to actually do their job, especially DHA, which is the brain-loving omega-3. So if you are deficient in vitamin E, you could be swallowing fish oil pills by the handful, chugging DHA supplements every single day, and still not feel any noticeable change in your brain or your mood. Why? Because without enough vitamin E, the omega-3s simply cannot work properly inside your brain. They need that vitamin E to activate their power. So, if you have been wondering why your fish oil is not delivering the results you expected, vitamin E deficiency might be the missing piece of the puzzle. Now let us talk about why so many people are running around vitamin E deficient and do not even know it. The number one reason is refined grains. Yes, those white breads, white pastas, sugary cereals, crackers, pastries, and processed foods packed with refined flour. Refined grains are stripped of their natural nutrients, and they aggressively rob your body of vitamin E. So if your diet is loaded with refined junk, your tank is probably running on empty. The other big reason is simply that people are not eating enough vitamin E-rich foods. And specifically when we are talking about tocotrienols, getting them from food is honestly a bit tricky because they live in some pretty unusual places. Let me list the main food sources, and you tell me how many of these are sitting in your kitchen right now. First up, natto, which is that funky fermented Japanese soybean dish that most people in the Western world have never even heard of, let alone tasted. Then we have palm oil, which is not exactly something most people splash into their cooking on a daily basis. Next is rice bran oil, again pretty rare in most kitchens. And finally, olive oil, which contains tocotrienols, but only in very small amounts. So unless you are munching on natto every morning, getting enough tocotrienols from food alone is a real uphill battle, which is why supplementation is the smart move for most people. Now let us zoom out for a second and talk about the bigger picture, because honestly, out of every health condition out there, a stroke is one of the absolute worst ones to get. It can flip your entire life upside down in a matter of seconds. So how in the world do you prevent it in the first place? Is it really as simple as popping an aspirin every single day, like so many people have been told for decades? Well, that is a conversation you absolutely need to have with your doctor, because here is the thing. Some fresh research is now showing that daily aspirin might actually be doing more harm than good for certain people, especially if you have a hemorrhagic stroke, which is the kind where a blood vessel bursts open. If you take aspirin while having that type of stroke, it can actually cause even more bleeding in your stomach, in your gut, and in other parts of your body. Now, I am absolutely not telling you to ditch your aspirin and toss the bottle in the trash. That is between you and your doctor. What I am saying is, get the full picture, ask the right questions, and make an informed choice instead of just blindly following old advice. But the good news is there are powerful natural ways to thin your blood and lower your stroke risk without any harsh side effects. First up, garlic. Yes, that humble little stinky bulb sitting in your kitchen is a serious natural blood thinner. Second, jumping on the ketogenic diet and kicking sugar to the curb, because sugar is one of the deepest root causes behind clot formation, plaque buildup, and clogged arteries. Sugar is silently destroying way more lives than people realize. Third, omega-3 fatty acids, which means fish oil and especially cod liver oil, both absolute powerhouses for cardiovascular health. Fourth, and this one is huge, getting rid of all the nasty omega-6 fatty acids hiding in your daily meals. These bad oils are sneaking into your body through restaurant foods, fried foods, packaged snacks, salad dressings, and basically everything cooked in soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, safflower oil, or sunflower oil. These oils trigger raging inflammation in your arteries, which sets the perfect stage for a future stroke or heart attack down the road. And finally, regular exercise. Not crazy intense gym sessions, just consistent movement that keeps your blood flowing smoothly and dramatically slashes your stroke risk. Walking, cycling, swimming, dancing, hiking, whatever gets your heart pumping works wonders. But here is the bottom line I want you to walk away with today. If you, or anyone you love, ever experiences even the smallest hint of stroke symptoms, get them on the tocotrienol version of vitamin E as fast as humanly possible. This single nutrient could be the secret hero that protects their brain, saves their recovery, and gives them their life back. Knowledge like this is power. Share this with someone you love, save it, bookmark it, because when a stroke strikes, there is no time to scramble for information. You need to already know what to do, and now you do. Now, if you have not seen my other video covering tocotrienols in even deeper detail, I am going to drop that one right here for you. Go check it out, because there is so much more to learn, and the more you know, the more powerfully you can protect yourself and the people in your life from this silent killer that touches millions of families every single year worldwide.